The Anniversary Cup continues! We are in the losers bracket, everybody. Best of 3 series between the Green Cats and Team Ash. Brax's Holdout is our first map. Over on the left side in blue, we got the Green Cats with Jayhard on Mal'Ganis. It's Dreadlord time. Drax on Dehaka. Autumn on Sylvanas. We got Critical on Uther. And Draclick is playing Gul'dan with Echoed Corruption. Over on the right side, we got Team Ash with Renella on Brightwing. Darianushka is playing Gromi. We have Maitri on Hogga, Anyone on ETC, and Bishops is playing Genji. I would say that the red team is definitely the favorite heading into this series. Once again, we find ourselves in Group A. This is the 10-year anniversary cup for Heroes of the Storm. More than 3,000 euros are on the line here as prize money. And we have 2 groups. We have a double elimination system in those groups. Currently we find ourselves in the losers bracket, so whoever loses the series here drops out of the group stage. And it opens up with a quick kill against the Green Cats as they lose one of their damage dealers in the 4-man rotation down at the bottom of the map. Gul'dan is out. Now, the interesting part about all of this is also that there will be a last chance group, a last chance qualifier. So it's gonna be pretty tough, obviously. We'll see which teams are making it into that. But if you want to reach the playoffs, then the safest option is definitely to qualify directly through the group stage. And the team that loses out in this series will get dropped out of Group A, as mentioned before. With ETC on level 1, we get Prog Rock. We have also Wave of Light right there, all the way up towards the top. We get there. Bishops is going for a camp. We're having Maitri starting to make his moves, and over on the left side, that is currently the next camp that is getting taken. Blue team is prepping for the first objective, so does their opponents. So the beacons are finally popping up, and that means that we're gonna have some fight time over the Zerg wave, the first one. Mal'Ganis down here. Mal'Ganis is actually a pretty cool hero. I mean, honestly, every single time that you see a Mal'Ganis player that knows what he's doing, he is absolutely wrecking things. Now, we got Bishops up here scouting out that another camp is about to be taken, but they have full control of the first objective, and damn, they're getting a lot of progress on this. Woof! They're getting a ton. They're probably not going to get the objective right away, but that is 80% already locked in, and this is, of course, not a winner-takes-all objective. This objective, these 80%, that's a win for them already, no matter what happens from here on out. Even if all of a sudden the blue team would just come in, claim the objective and take the 100%, this is nearly an identical Zerg wave here. So Team Ash with a great start into game number 1 of this best of 3 series. Oh, and as I said, Genji might actually fall, and does, but they took out the bat first. And this is the end of Sylvanas. So a double kill, and they might even make it a triple as they are moving in for Dehaka and Uther, who both escape, but this is going to be a full Zerg wave now. 100% to essentially 0 for the red team. Now you always get the pity wave, which accumulates to 18%. The pity wave at the bottom of the map. But up at the top, this is the real barrage against the full wall here. And yeah, so it's going to be a question on how well they can defend. They got Uther for the heal, but Sylvanas and Gul'dan will be the 2 to try and take the wave out as quick as possible with all of the AoE that they bring in. And they've done well, but they're still losing the wall, and they're going to lose a bit more on the fort itself. Especially, of course, since Team Ash is starting to aggressively push in. They were hoping to also get a kill here, which didn't quite work for them. But, yeah, it's some decent damage. As comparison, down at the bottom of the map, the wall has been scratched but not destroyed. And now we even have Genji moving in together with Brightwing. They're trying to go for the poly here. They get some damage on Dehaka, but it's not enough to seriously threaten him. So, Drax gets out and is totally fine here. Now, over on the left side, that's we're now having also Genji with the Sylvanas with the pleb horse moving in. 3 kills to 1, but honestly, if you look over at the experience, it's roughly the same for the 2 teams. There's no big gap currently between them. And with Gul'dan reigning supreme on the wave split, the bot lane, All the damage that was done by the Zerg wave at the top has now essentially also been done to the red team at the bottom of the map. The blue team has really set up a composition that has a ton of wave clear. Together with Gul'dan and Sylvanas, you have a lot of AoE clear where you can burn waves, mercenary camps, and objectives down pretty quickly. And that is kind of a problem, or could become a problem for Team Ash. They are more interested in getting kills here as well. So if they can, for example, take the Arc out up at the top, that would be a huge win. They get more damage in on that fort, but now the flank is coming, and that is where, again, Mal'Ganis is playing a big role. But the bot lane aggression is continuing. So the blue team, they are starting to take that fort out. It's at 50% HP. But Gul'dan overstaying is not really good for his health. I hope that he has good insurance, because that is the end of him. And that's now the second time that Gul'dan has fallen. The level 10 ability is already kicking in for Chromie. Oh, they're still trying to fight this. Careful. With Gul'dan gone, sending the Haka into that fight to try and face that team battle might be a tall order. There's still also the remainder of a camp at the top that is still stopping some of the minion waves and a few shots. Now that Genji is coming in with the mobility that he brings to the table, they can damage this fort even further. The Haka will deal with it, but that is a lot of damage done. And Bishops, he is just continuing this. Dancing around the fort. Actually, he might be able to take it out. Yeah, he's going for it. He takes the fort out. Fort is gone. That's a win. Now that the objective is up, the fight at the bottom of the map is heating up too. They try for my try. Hogga, they turn it and they spin to win. They go in for Sylvanas and they take her down. Chromie with the final shot. Now it's Mal'Ganis that's on the chopping block. Even Gul'dan in the back is already receiving some extra damage. And it is Uther that falls next. Uther is down. Gets some heals through with a ghost. But that's, of course, bad news, because it might just lead to another objective for Team Ash, or at least a big lead here. The stacks are also coming together quite nicely on both sides. We have 13 for Gul'dan. Level 10 abilities and half a level. Top side beacon has been taken, but the team hasn't really gotten a whole lot out of it. Now we're finally getting some progress from them. Brightwing is gone on the other hand, so they will have to give this one up and retreat for a bit longer. My try. They just can't kill him. Every time they think they finally have him in their grasp, he somehow spins out, dodges the few skill shots that are thrown his way, and is able to escape. Genji is making the rotation down to the bottom of the map again. His mobility is amazing on this map. And now the top side, they're trying to take this beacon too. At the bottom, Genji is reclaiming it. ETC! With a quick stage dive and a jump. The level 10 ability is, of course, amazing for them. Having that global in addition to Genji allows them to respond to so many situations on the map at the same time. And they are locking in a very solid advantage on the objective now as well. The blue team, they are still waiting for level 10. Don't have to wait long, but they might lose the objective. 94, 96. It's 4 percentage points that are missing. And I think they're going to get it right here, right now. That's another big Zerg wave for them. Oh, actually, my bad. Up at the top, seems like the Haka was able to take this one back, but he's also going to pay a price for it. And that price is his life. Was trying to tunnel out, but couldn't. Funnily enough, though, the bottom of the map has been reclaimed by the blue team, so they're really fighting tooth and nail to keep some kind of control here. But it is close now. It's a 5 versus 4 on the map. ETC is coming back in. Get some solid damage out with Chromie 2, zoning Uther away. Wailing Arrow already used. Divine Shield as well on J-Hard. Mal'Ganis trying to survive my try. Again surviving until nearly the end. Now it's Sylvanas that falls though. We have Mal'Ganis all the way in the back doing the best he can to go for Chromie and take her out, or at least pressure her. Genji has to X-Strike away in the middle of the battle. They still couldn't take that beacon at the bottom of the map, and with another Dragon Chromie, she was in trouble for just a second. But now they're trying to turn this once more. ETC running out of mana, also another problem for them, of course. Catapults pushing through the top at the same time, and it is just blow for blow here in game number 1 of this best of 3. Chromie is sitting at 31,000 damage. We have 25,000 for Gul'dan. And they are preparing for the next counter attack at the bottom of the map. The half-level advantage still for Team Ash. But they lose that fort at the bottom of the map. ETC comes in, gets licked immediately, and then has to be careful that he doesn't get targeted again. But the 100% are there. Genji sneaks in the objective, and that gives him a Zerg wave at the bottom of the map. That is going to hurt for sure. A kill against ETC would have gone a long way for the defense, though. But now they have to stop this, and they have, of course, the wave clear. We talked about this previously. Sylvanas, Gul'dan immediately added, but the wall at least will fall, likely more than that. They could even get the fort down here if they're able to push the agenda a bit further. It's a 5 versus 5 after all. Yeah, again, Hogga, Horrify gets used too, and Hogga survives, actually makes it. Hogga is still alive. I don't want to call him the unkillable at this point, because we've seen him fall at least once, but damn, he is just so resilient in these fights. It is ridiculous. 8 kills to 3, nearly level 13. The defense for the Green Cats is still strong on the other hand. All that wave clear making it possible for them. At the top, the wave has done some work. I mean, honestly, if you think about it, it has done exactly as much damage as the 100% wave at the bottom of the map. The wall has been taken out. It's all that has essentially happened. So the difference here really being the kind of team compositions that have been drafted by the two teams. On the one hand, we have a composition that is centering around a lot of AoE clear. On the other hand, something that is more designed to take heroes out. By the way, as a quick side note, as usual, the reason why we don't have any drafts in the video here is that games were played simultaneously during the group stage. So you had to make a choice which one you would cover live. And I'm currently casting these directly from replays. I don't know the scores or anything, but just so that we have a full record of those two, just in case that people wondering why some of the matches include a draft and some don't. Divine Shield saving Sylvanas for now. They're trying to turn the tide on Genji, who was hit by isolation, but he's still okay. Hogga isn't here. Hogga has moved towards the top lane in order to defend, which is exactly what he's doing there. And, well, there's still a boss up on the map that Bishops is regularly checking out to ensure that nobody is attempting to sneak this one. Next objective should be announced soon too. By now, just talking about raw damage. Oh, by the way, side note, with 33 stacks on Gul'dan, we have him closing in on a completion of his level 1 quest. And if you hit that around level 16, that's normally what you're aiming for, because then you get the synergy with Ruinous Affliction and unleash really all of the power there. But Gul'dan is already at 35,000 damage, Chrome is at 38k, so the two majors are doing very well for now. And the next fight, the Shockwave. At least hits Mal'Ganis in the back, but it was designed to connect with the Haka and did not. So now we have Mal'Ganis again trying to drive a wedge between the red team. Hogga stunning him out for just a moment. Chromie firing away with barrage after barrage. The ability is connecting as the beacons are about to activate again. Bishops has to zip out and does, but there's a lot of heroes over on the blue side that are all of a sudden dropping very low, dangerously low. And need to be careful here. Yeah, the Haka also pushing back out, but that forces the blue team to drop back to their fountains, and it will give a lead on the objective to the red team. It's not going to be a big lead, but they're going to have a bit of an advantage here, sitting at 20% for now. So free 20%, definitely something that you want to take. The camp, they sniffed out that it was about to be taken, but I don't think they're going to push into the slowing sands here. That seems like a bit of a risk. The lead in experience still maintained by Team Ash. The Haga is now trying to retake the bottom beacon and has done so, but the red team, of course, has traded that in for their control at the top. And the blue team is still consistently trying to find an angle here. They have nice tools too, of course. They have a fantastic amount of CC in addition to the wave play that they're running here. You have the Wailing Arrow, you have Isolation, you have Mal'Ganis as just a beast that can tee them up. Uther with an additional stun, Horrify. So if all of those are synced up properly, they can do an enormous amount of damage. Gul'dan is already done with his level 1 quest. So that's big. It's very, very quick on this. But 16 is close for Team Ash. They can kill ETC, but they can't. The heals are there once more. ETC is fine. Double beacon control again for the red team for a bit. They have 36% now. Once more have to retreat here, but the leg on Genji. This could be a kill, and it is. Wailing arrow from Sylvanas. Genji initiates the play. Sylvanas gets the connect with her silence, and that is the end of Genji. Just as the red team gets level 16 talents and would have an advantage in those fights. ETC is jumping in. They want that topside beacon. Horrify gets used right away. Dehaka has taken the control over the bottom beacon, so now it's a full control for the blue team, and maybe finally a chance. Oh my god, less than 100 HP on Mal'Ganis. I was about to say, finally a chance to get an objective for themselves, 100% wave, but it doesn't look like it's happening just yet. They have 22%, but that's all that they could manage. And that is the... I mean, the Haka at the bottom of the map, not going for the beacon immediately. That's a big advantage that gets locked in again by Team Ash. ETC sees this. It's just saying hello. Delays is a little bit more. They're already at 68%, 72. So they will lose control likely once more, but they're already so far ahead. It's just crazy. 86% again. Even if the blue team turns this one, it would be a big Zerg wave for Team Ash. 50,000 damage from Chromie. She's second fiddle now, though, to Gul'dan's damage. The stun against ETC at the bottom of the map. Blue team is dropping low too. Uther doing his best to heal them out, but starting to struggle here. Genji moves in, sniffs a potential kill. The Divine Shield from Uther, but he's starting to run out of tools that he can use in order to keep the team alive. ETC with another stage dive, but not able to connect the slow and stun. But they are trying to draw them back. That was a great Horrify, though. There's a kill opportunity for sure now on ETC, who starts to drop low. Horga is jumping in, attempting to help out. And in the back, they're going with the Poly for Dehaka again. Mal'Ganis, a bit alone, a bit isolated, is trying to chase them. It doesn't really matter, though, because the beacon has already been reclaimed by Team Ash. And they are getting another 100% Zerg wave. This time at the top lane, we're now 16.5 minutes into Brax's holdout. And if they send everybody to the top, there is a chance that they're taking a keep out here. I think it's a small chance. The wave clear has done wonders for the Green Cats throughout the game. Whenever they had to send a defense up, they did well. So I don't think there's going to be too much that's going to be done by Team Ash here this time now either, because the AoE clear is just too good. But the wall will fall. They're getting damage in here. And if they can get, for example, a kill too, then that would make matters even worse. But as it turns out, the team has to slowly retreat, and the wall is all that falls. And down at the bottom of the map, you might be surprised to hear, but it's exactly the same that has happened previously. The wall is taken out by Dehaka as well. Isolation connects, and I think Dehaka is going to die eventually. They're already starting to drop in on him from all angles. But Uther is here and he has a Divine Shield, so actually he might be able to save him after all. Uther, worst case scenario, will have to use the Divine Shield. Wailing Arrow is out. The Tong misses. Yeah, but they're able to retreat. So not really that big of a deal here. It looked for a second like Dehaka might be a bit too far out, but they were there in time and they were able to help him. So good for them. 4 kills to 8. The one important thing to take from all of this, though, is can you imagine what happens here if at some point the Green Cats get an objective? Because so far, we always had the bigger one taken by Team Ash, but they only went even in the actual damage that was done to structures with their opponent because of the superior wave clear. So if at any point the Cats take an objective for themselves, they could really do harm. They could do a lot of damage to the red team's infrastructure. Quest completed for ETC. Took him a bit. 18 minutes in. 2-lane map obviously makes it a bit more difficult. But ever since the game started, we've maintained this half-level advantage for Team Ash. So right now, the next fight is coming. Brightwing is still at the bottom of the map, and is actually escorting this in fairly successfully. So this is going to do damage to the bottom fort for sure. Up at the top though, yeah, they're trying to again look for a kill. Genji the entire time sniffing around the edges of the fight. and looking for targets. The Haka has fallen back down to the bottom of the map to prevent the fort from being destroyed, but it has already taken a huge amount of damage here. So this might still fall, as up at the top they're still chasing. They're chasing hard. Uther goes down. He had the Divine Shield up. No chance for him to use it. Got blown to pieces, and Mal'Ganis died a second later. Now finally, 19 minutes into the game, it is time to go for the boss. 64,000 damage for Chromie, 71,000 damage for Gul'dan. Not even speaking about the siege damage, where Gul'dan is putting everybody else to shame. But the boss is claimed, and the double beacon. Ooh, this is tough. This is level 20 in their hands. A beacon, a boss, and an objective that I don't think can be stopped by the blue team. So in game number 1 of the series, the Cats are now facing a huge problem. And with the Haka dying, yeah, that problem just got much, much bigger. The bot lane, for example, we lose the fort, duh. The only question is, how much damage can the Zerg Wave do in conjunction with it? Because everything lines up at the bottom of the map now. They have only 4 defenders. They don't have level 20 talent. And here comes a Zerg Wave plus a boss 20 minutes in. This one is gonna hurt. They're gonna lose the keep 100%. I just don't see a universe in which this doesn't happen. But what's gonna happen with the core? Can they kill another hero? Is Team Ash able to get another kill? Or are they just marching through this? The boss still at 50% HP. The Zerg Wave is coming in. The Haka down for another 18 seconds. Here's the play for Gul'dan. He survives thanks to the Divine Shield. But both Sylvanas and Uther are now gone. It's a triple, baby. They get Mal'Ganis, and that is game number 1. The Green Cats lose on Brax's holdout as Team Ash locks in a victory on the first game of this best of 3 series. GG.
Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV.
Team Ash has taken the lead. We're heading into Towers of Doom, our second map in the best of 3 series. Once again, a reminder, we are in the losers bracket of Group A for the 10-year anniversary cup. On the left side, we have J Hart on Diablo. We get Drax for the Green Cats on Leoric. Autumn is playing Zarya with Feel the Heat on level 1. Critical with Anduin, and then Dracolic with Li Ming, trying to get those resets. On the right side, Renella, match point number 1 for the red team. Playing Tyrande, we got Darinushka on Chromie, anyone on Myrden. Bishops is playing Imperius, and we have Maitrai on Hoggar. So, first map was a big win for the red team. They were able to take it, I don't want to say with ease, but was a very solid performance. The blue team just never able to catch up. Rax's holdout was a lock, and now we have 2 match points potentially for Team Ash, depending a bit on how exactly Towers of Doom plays out, of course. They could lock it out now with a 2-0 series and make sure that the Green Cats drop out of Group A, and Team Ash would then advance through the losers bracket. But Zarya at the bottom of the map already going for a bit of extra siege up potential and damage. So we don't get a Garrosh and Zarya combo, but we have Diablo plus Zarya now. And just the extra protection and survivability with Zarya going brrrr, and getting some damage in as well with Feel the Heat. But also becoming very quickly the target of a lot of unwanted attention. And had to be zipped out by Anduin. Oh, J-Hart going aggressive here. Dodges the Tyrande stun though. Interesting choice, by the way, to go for Tyrande as the support. We've seen this a couple of times that Tyrande gets picked. But given the fact that there are no draft restrictions, I didn't really think that anybody would go for Tyrande in that context. Now you have Myrden plus Tyrande, which is of course a true and tried composition. And something you can use to get kills in. Blue team walks away with a camp that was invaded, but they lose Diablo in the process, and they might lose more. Zarya is also getting attacked, and that is a second kill. So while Team Ash was not able to take the camp, they were indeed able to get the double kill. And the camp has also been severely damaged already, so the defense on the remaining hit points should be fairly straightforward. But at least good move. It's a typical aggression that we see from the Russian-Ukrainian team. I mean, they always like to do stuff like this. Invade camps, try and sometimes roll the dice even when they are talent or a hero down if they feel they have a superior position. And more often than not, it works out for them. Gives them a certain aggressiveness that they are definitely notorious for at this point. And it results, in this case, in 2 kills, 2-0, but the timing was slightly off. Weren't able to get those pumpkins, or this would have been an even bigger win for them. But as we now see, Imperius with a stun, follow up from Tyrande. They're trying to go for another kill. Diablo is low, but is able to get out of the fight. The side lane, Leo and Hogga are consistently moving between the lanes and just doing their thing there. So just trying to clear the mercenary camps, the mercenary camps, the minion camps, whatever is coming. But we have the first triple altar phase now popping up. Down at the bottom of the map is where we have altar number 3. That's usually the one that's being fought over. And this is no exception. Top left, top right are being exchanged between the two teams. And down here, it is Anduin with his Robin skin that is going for us. Anduin did not need a Robin skin. Anduin is already a beta to begin with. If you then give him a Robin skin, that makes him a Gamma or something. I don't even know how that works, but yeah. You're giving a beta skin that makes matters just so much worse. So I feel a little bit sorry for him. At least they could have tried to dress him up a little bit, you know? Not that it works a whole lot. I mean, Blizzard is currently trying to do that and man up Anduin slightly, and that is obviously backfiring because nobody's falling for that crap. But still, you can at least try. At least don't make it worse, which they kind of do. Now, level 7 talents are kicking in for Team Ash, so it gives them a small advantage for the remainder of the fight. Hogga stayed on the lanes a little bit longer in order to make that happen, but he's now starting to come in and help out. So that makes it a 5 versus 5 with a talent advantage for the red team. Let's see if they can use it though, because the blue team is soon going to close that gap and get their own level 7 talent. But J-Hard is in a bit of a pickle here, needs some help and heals and gets them. The drain from Leo though, the turn and the kill. As Imperius had enough, and so Leoric is now ghosting around the battlefield, activating his trade. Well done by Team Ash, and is it gonna result in them claiming the altar? I'm not 100% certain, because the death timer on Leoric is essentially non-existent at this point in time. He's already back to business and straight back in the fight. Imperius, who had to retreat, still has quite a bit of travel time before he's rejoining his teammates. Some interrupts with the owl from Tyrande, but Drax is getting very, very close to making this work, and he gets it. Chromie was too slow. So that is 4 additional shots fired by the Green Cats, who are taking a small advantage, at least on core points, against their opponent. In experience, they are behind. They also haven't gotten a kill yet, but already noteworthy that they were able to grab themselves the 3rd altar. By the way, when we're talking about builds, once again, no Calamity. Instead, we're getting Seeker. So we're getting this Seeker build a little bit more often lately. Calamity still, in most cases, the prioritized choice. But especially against Sergeant Hammer, for example, we've seen also a few builds with Seeker now. Oh, talking about getting hammered. Zarya got absolutely destroyed by Chromie a second ago, who is doing splendidly here. And now they're going for Diablo, and they send him packing as well, aren't they? No, he survives. Does he? Ah, yes, he's dead.
And we say bye-bye. Surprise, motherfucker.
So yeah, Diablo got a bit hit a bit hard here. So he's gone. Level 10 abilities as a result, very early for Team Ash. And that is now 5 kills to 0. Yeah, I gotta say, Team Ash, they're coming out swinging. They have a 1 level advantage now, and they are not letting up on the pressure. They're trying to take the walls out. We're having, at the top, the double altar spawning. Should be an exchange. I don't think one of the teams is really trying to invade the other, especially since both will have level 10 by the time that it actually matters here. But now we're going for a potential follow-up kill. Great ult from Imperius, just as needed. And Zarya is gone. They might even be able to kill Anduin. Oh, no! He has less than 20 hit points as he escapes. And honestly, the stun, Chromie just did... I mean, it was so close. Chromie was expecting him to continue walking and lined up her abilities to get a kill out of it. But then the stun prevented him from moving into the danger zone. So, yeah, kill number 6. They take Anduin down shortly after, so they get the kill after all. But finally, Li Ming comes in and drops Muradin. And, well, she gets killed a second later. But at least they have now a kill on the board. So, 1 level advantage, 8 kills to 1. Team Ash ahead, but still behind in points on the core. That doesn't really come as a surprise, since they were the ones to get the additional altar out of the first wave of objectives. Now with both teams on level 10, the Entomb gets dropped. Still fighting a bit for that camp. But they might go for Diablo. And can they get the kill here? Starts to push out. Hogger is refocusing his attention onto Leoric. And the red team is invading again, or at least thinking about it. They're looking for kills continuously, but they weren't able to grab one here. Chromie is nearly done with her stacking quest. She is at 30,000 damage. It's actually a little bit less than Imperius. Imperius is at 32,000 already. But Li Ming is putting them all to shame with a 35k. And again, we have in the next big team fight. This is a good one also for the blue team, at least on paper. But they lose Zarya and they lose Leorki. So that's 10 kills to 1. On paper, it wasn't a bad battle because it was all happening before the level 13 talents kicked in for Team Ash. But now that they lost 2 of their heroes, they might even lose the 3rd. Diablo is attacked again and somehow makes it out. Having his full focus on Firestomp here is definitely helping a bit too. Souls to the Flame, crucial, absolutely. But now the double altar is coming up. Another Muradin Stormbolt connects. And they want the kill. Can they drop Anduin? And indeed they can. Diablo is also lost. It is an absolute slaughter. I mean, damn, 12 kills to 1. Team Ash is brutalizing the opponent's team. Now, this is a huge comeback map. Always has been, always will be. But the situation is not really improving for the Green Cats. So right now we have 13 kills to 1. And they are just pinned down time and time again. Zarya miraculously survives throughout this. This is actually insane that she made it. The shield at the perfect moment in time before the stun connected. There's one altar to still be played over. The teams are tying points on the core. Late game is all that matters here, but it's a 2-level gap by which Team Ash is already leading. And this is, of course, massive. And let's not forget, this is a match point. Diablo goes down. And they might have to give up another altar. This altar, if they have to give it up, would mean that Team Ash, for the first time in this series, is taking the lead in points on the core. They're already leading everywhere else. The 13 kill gap is actually nasty. Light bomb engage happening. Leorki gets instantly attacked and murdered. The old Bag and Bones is now just moving around, ghosting through the battlefield once more as they lock down Zarya. And now they go for Anduin. He is dead too. That is 17 kills to 1. It's absolutely insane how they're getting murdered right now. I mean, honestly, Team Ash is crushing the Cats here. A comeback might still be possible theoretically, but boy, oh boy, are the Cats having a tough game ahead of themselves. 16 kills behind. They're 3 levels behind currently. 3 levels. And Li Ming is just saying, alright, screw it. I'm going for Glass Cannon. We need some kills, we need some resets. The only chance to come back into this is snowballing it, and we need to risk something. So they're going for the long distance play. If you already go for the Seeker Missile on level 7 and you're not dropping into Calamity, then also it's much, much easier for you to justify going Glass Cannon with that build. Obviously, it's pretty much standard at this point. And now they have to really leverage Li Ming heavily if they want to have a chance here. It's crazy how far behind the blue team is currently. I mean, Imperius is confidently striding into the battlefield once again. And is just looking for another stun connect. And they are just jumping in. They used the stun from Hogger already. This time they're focusing on Diablo, and Jehad makes it out. Leo wasn't here yet. He's still ghosting around in the middle and the top lane to get them some additional XP. But they, of course, have to eventually face off against the red team with a talent advantage even. They can't. They just don't have the time to do anything else. Nice catch, though, on Tyrande. And she's dead. Tyrande is down. They're trying to focus on her a little bit more. I talked just briefly at the beginning of the game about her. Positioning is everything with her. She doesn't have a lot of escape tools that she can utilize, and this is a kill. Li Ming gets another one. Hogger is gone. Resets for Li Ming too. Now Diablo has also fallen, and he didn't have any soul stacks left, so that's a bit of a problem. Chromie is eating a lot of damage from Li Ming on the other hand, but was still able to turn the fight around, so good on Darianushka to push this back. But then it's Zarya that's in trouble, and Zarya is gone. Maybe they can go for Muradin, but yeah, even that is a big question mark. So the blue team, they're getting a few more kills now. They're also closing in on level 60, but they're still way behind. But they might just get that altar down here. So Muradin, no! Muradin gets attacked and killed. Muradin is gone. 24 points on both teams' cores now. The red team, I give them that they're resilient. They're really doing their best to try and claw their way back into this. They're now 1.5 levels behind, so they have for sure closed this gap in experience a bit. If you look at the experience distribution, you will see that despite the fact that they only have 4 kills, they have already half of the experience through hero kills that the red team has. And that is simply because they killed heroes that were on a much higher level. So the gap is still there, but it is slowly closing. It's definitely something that they're starting to do right, and they're invading the opponent's pumpkin camp now. They're taking this away as well. They have to deal with the wave up at the top. Leoric is already on the move, and the rest of the 4-man is now aggressively pushing for the bottom fort again, as they should. I mean, they need to leverage Zarya. That gives them added sustain. With a level 16 on the side of Anduin, they have, of course, also another opportunity to pull a hero out of the battle if trouble's brewing. So they're going to try and do that. Leo already attempting to, go back down to the fight. He was at the top lane defending, and Diablo was stalling things out with a lightning breath over here. Mirror Ball also for Li Ming, of course, another tool. And for Team Ashe, they are continuing with the aggression. They're continuing to be aggressive. They're continuing to make their moves here. But right now, shots are fired. This time, again, the pumpkin camp becomes the center of the fight. Li Ming still alive, and then she gets killed. Tyrande with the final hit. Leoric is already gone. That's kill number 20 and 21 for Team Ashe. And, boah, that bottom bell tower should now fall. Team Ashe is just walking over them. Every time that you feel, okay, the cats, they might just be able to now make it back. Maybe this is the moment where they're getting something done. They all of a sudden fall into a deep hole and lose more heroes. Renella gets the first altar channel. That's 5 shots that get fired. The core on the blue team side now down to 19. They at least channel the 3 shots at the top left, but there is just no way for them to grab the top right. Leo is close by, but he's never going to make his way over there. Or he will just die. Well, actually, scratch that. He's going to die regardless. So Leo is down. And level 20 is going to be hit any second. We're now 50 minutes into the game. 14 points on the core against 21. And as the blue team is trying to retake the bottom left bell tower, Team Ashe is attempting to defend it. They have Rewind for Muradin now. The level 20 talents are there. That gives us the Shooting Star. We get Unraveling for Chromie, just upgrading her 10. And then in addition to that, Impervious and the Power Spike for Hogger. Yeah, the Green Cats are trying their best. They want to force game number 3. They know that they're dropping out of the group if they're losing this map. So they are not giving up. There's the Light Bomb. That didn't do a whole lot. Diablo is still dead. He had the soul stacks though. But Muradin is kind of caught here. Waits for the cooldown. And is he going to get it in time? The answer is no. So Muradin is gone. Diablo has been killed, but is back. He had the souls. Muradin, yeah, is not going to make it that quickly. So the red team will probably have to fall back a bit, but they can still try and hold that bell tower. And here comes the power spike from Hogger. And Zarya gets saved. No problem there. Barbecue The heals, yeah, but Diablo falls. Then on the other hand, they might be able to get a kill on Tyrande. She's getting low, and there it is. Leo gets killed a moment later, though, so it's blow for blow at this point in time. We have 6 kills to 25, 31 in total, nearly 2 kills a minute. The altar is coming up. Zarya also rather hurt. But Li Ming is firing away. She wants the damage. She wants the reset. She's sitting at 88,000 damage and has also eclipsed the damage output of Chromie. The bell tower at the bottom, they might be able to grab it. Li Ming is firing away and Zarya is doing her best too. Leo will be able to interrupt if somebody is starting to channel, but the bell tower will be claimed. They're going to get this one. Yeah, taking another auto attack, but they got it. So we're going to have a 5 versus 5 for the fight, I suppose, because everybody's still waiting for one hero. Diablo is still gone. So is also Tyrande. Here comes the channel, the doom and the kill. Hoga! Hoga is gone. That's the first time that they actually start into a fight with a kill and the numbers advantage. And they follow it up with a second. Myrden is dead. Myrden goes down and they have level 20. All of a sudden, we have level 20 talents on both sides. The shots are fired. And just like that, the blue team is back to business. They are still heavily behind when it comes to the kill count. But look at the situation outside of kills. Both teams are on level 20. Well, red team has just locked in level 21, but it doesn't really matter too much. Both have level 20 talents, and that's where it ends. And we have 17 points on the core to 14. And just like that, we have 5 bell towers to 3 in favor of the blue team. Guys, I mean, the Cats are doing okay here. They've been fighting back the entire time, and now they're getting another kill. They have been on the back foot pretty much from the beginning. Attacked relentlessly by Team Ash. And they've always tried to just somehow survive. That was the only order, really. Don't lose, don't die, don't give them too many bell towers. And they somehow made it to level 20. They were around level 16. They were 3 levels behind. And now, they're officially taking the lead on core points. 14 to 13. There are pumpkins at the bottom of the map, and they're somehow starting to put the pressure on the Team Ash. It's actually insane. Towers of Doom, again, the late game, it is everything that matters here. And they're doing pretty okay. They're going for another kill. Bishops is low and dies. They get the count on Diablo, so it's an exchange in kills. The altar is spawning. It's a single altar that spawns next. But both of the teams are dropping low on points on the core. The 2 misses, that's a big miss. That would have been a kill, very likely, if Drax was able to lock that one in properly. But he wasn't able to do that. Now they're attempting the channel, and with Tyrande using her owl a second ago, I'm not sure she can here. Chromie, on the other hand, through the tunnel, is able to interrupt him. They go again for Myrden. Altar not back for another 27 seconds. Li Ming using the corridor for big damage, big hits, and they might just get a kill on my try. They're trying, and they're getting it. Hoga is down. Hoga is gone. He's dropped, and that is another kill. Kill number 11. They're doing so much better the last few minutes. The Cats, they got the altar as well, and that is now 14 points on the core to 8. What a turnaround. What an insane turnaround. Team Ash attempting to reclaim the bell tower at the bottom right, and they will. But they can't be happy with this. They have more than twice the amount of kills that the opponent does. But it doesn't matter too much. They are now struggling in this second game of the best of 3 series. Stormbolt, follow up from Tyrande, and she dies again. The Entomb was on point. Li Ming followed up on it. The bell tower at the bottom right has still not been claimed, which means those pumpkins could technically now be escorted in. Boss will be up in a minute or so again. And they're still fighting for it. They want another kill and they get it. Imperius is down too. Guys, they're just getting kills here. They're locking in kills, and now the pumpkins are connecting too. 2 of them make it in. That is 6 points on the core against 14. Boss, 2.5 minutes. Longer than I expected. But that is, it's just insane. What an insane game, seriously. 116,000 damage now by Li Ming, who is officially in the 6-digit club. And then we have Chromie on roughly 100,000 as well. But now, in total, 39 kills. 13 to 26. And Team Ash is desperately trying to get control back in this game. The Entomb is ready, and they kill Muradin. You got to be kidding me. The bell tower still not taken. Chromie, come on. Hogger, somebody. One hit. There it is, and he's going to pay with his life for it, doesn't he? Yes, he's dead too. They get the bell tower, but they lose Hogger in the process, and that's now 2 heroes that are essentially missing for another minute. The altar channel has happened. Core is down to 2%. Diablo channels the final one. Ladies and gentlemen, they did it. They turned the series around. They turned the game around. This is a win for the Green Cats as they take Towers of Doom. Team Ash is defeated, and the blue team puts a point onto the scoreboard. GG. The final map in the best of 3 series. We are in the losers bracket here in Group A of the Anniversary Cup, and whichever team loses now on Dragonshire will drop out of the group. The winner still able to advance and potentially make it all the way to the grand final. Over on the left, we got Jayhard on Merlin. The Cats with a fantastic showing on Towers of Doom, able to force this final map. Autumn on Rega with a Lightning Shield build. We got Drax on Leoric, Critical on Oriel, and Draclick on Sergeant Hammer. It is hammer time in game number 3. On the right side of the map, the red team with Renella on Lucio, Darinushka for Team Ash with Zagara. We got Anyone on Janna, Bishops on Sylvanas, and Maitrai is playing Blaze in the 3rd and last game of the series. So, that was a bit of a wild second game. I mean, big win, obviously, by the blue team. It didn't look good. I mean, for a long time, it really did not look good. The difference in kills was absolutely insane, but you have to do something with those kills. You have to pull ahead and really take control of the map, and that's something that Team Ash failed to do. They didn't control enough of the bell towers. They didn't get enough map control in general, and it backfired. So now they have to, again, refocus in game number 3 and do their thing. Rega goes down, so they're actually off to a good start here. Zagara sitting at the bottom of the map, and with Rega being destroyed, that's a good start into the 3rd and final map of the series. Blaze is still up at the top, so he wasn't even part of any of this. We have a few more shots fired from Zagara here. We'll see how much of an impact she is going to have here. Oriel, by the way, again, Searing Light. So Blizzard, obviously, over the last couple of weeks and months with more and more small patches, just tweaking a couple of numbers and a few heroes. And that's why we now have also small and slow shifts in the meta just in general when it comes to certain healers like Oriel that are seeing more play. We talked a little bit about Jimmy making appearances, which might still be a little bit of a fad initiated by Exodia stack and Dino in particular, but the tournament will tell how much of a role he's going to play for other teams too in their lineup. For now though, we're focusing of course on the game at hand, and here we get level 4 talents now, which brings us for Sergeant Hammer the siege tactics as so often. We now have also the repeated offense for Oriel, so they have that. And then all the way up at the top, that's where we're getting Maitrai together with the camp that the team took. So this is actually a really nice push that has been executed at the top lane already. It's kind of meant to balance what's happening at the bottom of the map with the siege giants and the 3-man attack that's happening there. But Leo has now been slowed down by Blaze a little bit. And since the team has now also Sylvanas here, this is going to do a lot of damage. The question is just simply how much. Renella is also saying hello. But they have the camp still pushing. There's another minion wave moving in. And they're essentially attempting to mirror the damage output that's being executed at the bottom of the map by the Green Cats. So, yeah, both of them doing as much as they currently say here. With that, yeah, there's Jojo, who is at least killed. So, all the structural damage comes at a cost. Now, with a kill versus a kill, we're heading into slowly Sergeant Hammer getting enough experience for level 7. This is really where the things will change at the bottom of the map a bit. I mean, already there's a whole lot of pressure, but once that Sergeant Hammer has also mobility and can execute that, it's gonna be even more important. Lucio getting killed at the bot lane is not really a good look though for Team Ash, because they already have a tough time as is to defend here, and now with the flank from Rhaegar, it seems that Zagara might not make it either. So she goes down, and with all of those heroes getting murdered at the bot lane and Sergeant Hammer now locking in a level 7 talent, this bell tower is in trouble. Oriel gets counter killed, but I mean, I'll still call worth it. They got Lucio and they got Zagara, and they have a lot of damage on the 4 too, so that's a pretty good start into all of this, and Sergeant Hammer is just relentlessly keeping at it. Leoric at the top lane is trying to get them the second shrine, and can. But first and foremost, we have Sylvanas already dealing with it, and even in the middle. There was no real way to get a Dragon Knight here. The defense was already set up. People were paying attention. So, yeah, that's that. But Rhaegar now starting things off with Stormcaller, as I mentioned, Earth Living Enchant, and then Blood and Thunder for him. As Lucio is trying to be annoying. He's pretty good at that. Lucio is really good at being annoying. If Jojo holds this longer, this is a Dragon Knight. And yep, that's a DK. DK in the middle of the map. The blue team was busy at the top left taking a camp, and down at the bottom of the map, Joanna had to sustain to stay on the shrine a bit longer, as the Green Cats were trying to take control, and that allowed Team Ash, the sneaky hero, into the middle of the map and get themselves a Dragon Knight, who immediately is trying out for the NFL punting team, making sure that Autumn Rhaegar gets kicked way back, but they are getting good damage in. So after initially losing a lot of ground at the bot lane, thanks to the Dragon Knight, they are now doing tons of damage here in the middle. And this is only the first Dragon Knights, and usually these don't do all that much. You're basically playing around your ability cooldown the most with Dragon's Breath, which is currently doing right here. Opening the wall up was already a big win, and then in addition to that, also damaging the fort is fantastic. Now that the DK has moved to the bot lane, we're going to see the same thing there, so not too bad. Top side, Leo has fallen. It's now 3 kills to 3. It really feels like the Green Cats have found their fighting spirit with them pushing through the last game, but now we're having them. They're playing a little bit more aggressive. They're not really put into this position again where they're playing from behind the entire time and just can try to react to whatever the opponent is initiating. So all of a sudden they are making more moves and it's closer. They just have to ensure that they're surviving, grabbing the camp. Sergeant Hammer might have a problem, gets a lot of heals though, and acts also as the hope generator for Oriel. So they are getting out. The camp is starting to push over on the right side. There's Siege Giants also from Team Ash, so 2 mercenary camps colliding. As Muradin is attempting to target Zagara at the top lane a bit more. She's low, and that's a kill. Yeah, felt too safe. Muradin jumped in, gets a solo kill. That's really bad news now. Stuff like that shouldn't happen here. We have interesting choices on level 10, by the way. Not only did we get Haymaker, but more importantly, we got Resurrect. Resurrect for Oriel over the Aegis. So that will be interesting during the team fights to see how much value she's going to be able to get out of this. The camp was stolen away, so now they have 2 Siege Giant camps pushing against them. Now Zagara slowly coming back on that top lane. So she's starting to make her way back over after just being dropped by Muradin. And here comes the second wave of shrines. So another Dragon Knight is going to be ready. And down at the bottom of the map, Sergeant Hammer back to the old shenanigans. Of course. Gotta destroy that fort somehow. Sylvanas, talking about forts that are being destroyed, is busy at the top lane. Might have to jump out of this. Still, I like it. Jumping around the fort. Gets Haymaker though. And Entombed as well. And at some point, the more shutting the play down, and maybe they can even turn it. Rhaegar with the Self-Ancestral. Now we have even Oriel coming in. This entire thing started out as a little skirmish and is now turning into a major fight with Sylvanas and Blaze both being massively low. It is Blaze that eats the Stormbolt though, and that marks the end of him. So Blaze is gone, but so is the bottom fort. Now to be fair, the top fort has of course also gotten destroyed. So each team has now sacrificed one of their outer structures. In regards to damage output, we have 21,000 for Zagara, 27,000 for Sergeant Hammer. And with double control on the shrines, it's now time for the cats to attempt and get themselves a Dragonite. Seems like they're going for Johanna here. And Tomb is ready. Could be used, but trying to force it a little bit too much. So, yeah, unlucky. That would have been nice. If they can get Jojo here, that would have been great. Team Ash, on the other hand, still busy with the Zagara at the top. It's actually kind of funny that Zagara is riding the soapbox, considering that she is making most of the dirty on the map. That Janet has to clean all that up, and what they're cleaning up first is Muradin. Muradin is gone. So Team Ash, again, looking for those kills and finding them. Muradin is gone. They're trying for Leo, but he gets away. So this is way more on eye level than a lot of the other games that we've seen in the series. And, well, there's a lot on the line, obviously. You don't want to drop out of the group stage this early. This is Group A. And this is the final map. Now, at the bottom of the map, we already have Team Ash claiming control over another shrine. And they get another Dragonite. Nobody is even trying to interrupt plays. That is DK number 2. The second objective for Team Ash. Probably don't want to push into Sergeant Hammer. I mean, essentially you can go for... Well, they have Sylvanas at the bottom of the map. They could decide to go with the Dragonite there as well. But the idea, of course, is to set up a two-pronged attack. Push at the bot lane with Sylvanas. Push in the middle with the Dragonite. But with the Entomb this time on point, they take down... The blue team takes down Johanna. And yeah, that's bad news. So the Dragonite gets baited in a little bit far, but he still wants the fort here, and he's going to get it. So this fort is going to get destroyed. But at the bottom of the map, yeah, they set even the BFG up. Sylvanas is getting out, and so does Lucio, so they're still both fine. I mean, they got something out of the Dragonite, but it was a very good defense by the blue team. They did pretty well here. It was a nice defense. This ability is, by the way, one of the best. I mean, I absolutely love it, even if it's not always impactful. But there's sometimes such hilarious plays when Dragonite sneaks behind somebody and kicks them into a fort range, for example. It's just so damn good. So whoever came up with this, kudos. It's very, very fun. Not the most impactful thing. Can be. But, yeah, it's just great. 27,000 damage for Sylvanas. 34,000 for Sergeant Hammer. Level 16 talents will this time hit a lot sooner for the green cats. They have it already, one level ahead of their opponents, which gives us, of course, now Rising Storm after we got the Earth Shield. So way more of a focus on the Lightning Shield now with Giant Killer on level 16 for Sergeant Hammer. Muradin has gone for the Bronzebeard Rage on level 13, is now following that up with Dwarf Launch. And they have some really nice tools at this point. I mean, also when we're talking about Oriel, Will of Heaven, for example, at this point. So more attack speed for Sergeant Hammer, which is making her just so much more dangerous. So this level 16 talent is highly impactful. Sergeant Hammer now with more attack speed, and then on top of that, also access to Giant Killer, which is going to threaten the front line massively. So they're really hoping for Sergeant Hammer to pull through here for the team. And Entomb hits, but they don't have enough damage ready to do anything with it. We'll talk a lot about Diablo and Leoric as potential combos with a stun into a Leo wall. But obviously the same also works when you're cracking up the whip from Oriel and you are throwing that out. Bot lane, the red team, again aggressive. They are trying to take the final fort out. Jihad with a very optimistic Stormbolt. I mean, that one would have only worked if somebody moved into it. The Blessed Shield on the end. Nice. Beautiful Blessed Shield. And then the kill. Resurrect, on the other hand, is working out pretty nicely. The double support combo that they've been playing the entire game, I mean, it's working quite well. They weren't able to prevent all of those kills from happening, but they are still able to sustain Sergeant Hammer a lot. The main goal is, of course, to keep her alive. In addition to that, if Rhaegar, as in this case, dies, you still have the Resurrect available. So once that we're heading into these 5 versus 5 fights that are now starting to happen way more often, it's just so much more beneficial for them to have the double support, because they can really bank on Sergeant Hammer being the big damage dealer that they need her to be. And it's essentially just full on having 2 pocket healers even. And the damage so far is matching that out. I mean, it has to be Sergeant Hammer that gets the big damage in. Everybody else is just chipping in some peanuts. Leo, by the way, is able to get away. Leo's able to get away. Sergeant Hammer still alive here. Careful. Ancestral. Yeah, and that was needed. Sergeant Hammer will be a priority target for Team Ash. If they ever can take Hammer out, then it's just going to result in the red team going for a massive push. And you can see it actually in the kill stats too. Sergeant Hammer has not died yet. The moment that Team Ash can kill Sergeant Hammer and Resurrect is not up, that's the moment where the red team will do an enormous push. And they are already doing a lot against the structures. I mean, they have taken every single fort with the exception of the bot lane out. They are now opening up walls at the keeps already. So, yeah, it's pretty big. But once again, we're now having 154 stacks for Rhaegar on his level 1, 37 for Leoric on his 16. Leo currently is holding on to the top lane, and the red team wants another objective. They got 2 Dragonites already. 2 Dragonites for them. And the Green Cats, despite the fact that they have more kills than their opponents, I still feel that on the map itself, they are... passive might be the wrong word, but they are definitely not quite as aggressive in the way that they're playing it. They're looking more for opportunities right now. Big damage from Sergeant Hammer. More gets used. The BFG kill. Nice. Big hit. Big hit with the BFG. And that is Zagara gone. Now they have a numbers advantage again. Sylvanas is moving in from the side. I do not think that they have a chance to go for a kill. But they're trying. Blessed shield. Well, I take everything back. Beautiful executed. That was honestly a perfect execution of that combo. And they got the kill. Blessed shield, double connect into a jet propulsion, wailing arrow, and just look at this. That was a work of art. Everything with the double connect, even the condemn here, sucking them into the same spot that Sylvana could follow up. That was exceptionally well done. Team Ash with a glorious double kill. Both of the teams closing in on level 20, as we have 7 kills to 7. So, yeah, job well done. Now, level 20 talents are kicking in for Team Ash. They again want, of course, the objective. We now have the Mixing Fire after high 5. We get the Radiating Faith. Farsia's Blessing for Rhaegar. And Meridian takes over at the bottom of the map. So no objective just yet for Team Ash. Oriel has gone into the Shield of Hope. And we have the Ultra Capacitors for Sergeant Hammer. Yeah, it's soon going to be Hammer time. No Resurrect there. That was not really the spot to go for it. Muradin, careful, and he's gone. Nicely done. Yeah, that's the problem when you don't have Avatar. He even popped his rewind, and it all did not matter. So, yeah, 5 versus 4 in favor of Team Ash once again. Team Ash with Dragon Knight number 3. They're going for it. Nobody tries to interrupt it. 3rd Dragon Knight for the red team. The Green Cats, they haven't gotten a single DK. Not one. But of course, you have to push into Sergeant Hammer every time you want to do serious damage here. The fort is given up. They know that they can't grab this one. And yeah. Jetzt. I mean, now it's just like a question of how much Sergeant Hammer can do on the defense. And I honestly don't think that the Dragon Knight is going to be able to do too much. Sergeant Hammer is, by the way, behind in damage compared to Sylvanas. But there's an attack on 2 lanes now. This is what they've been now doing a few times. Ah, Buried Alive misses. That was an important one for Leo. Getting this one in would have been pretty neat for them. But they couldn't. So they should siege up with Sergeant Hammer at the bottom of the map again. To make sure that the keep doesn't take any damage here. And this is going to be their biggest tool on this. Dragon Knight that just walks into the damage is going to be melted down quickly. Talking about being melted. Sylvanas nearly falling. Now that they're defending against the Dragon Knight at the bot lane, Zagara has taken more control over the middle and has pushed for the keep. Not able to take it down or anything, but they're nibbling on the edges to try and slowly and steadily erode the entire defense of the Green Cats. So by now, we're still having 2 forts in play for Team Ash. They've been really, really diligent through these attacks. I mean, after that setback in game number 2, they of course want to make sure that they are now at least winning the 3rd game so that they can continue their run through the lower bracket of the tournament. Rhaegar is nearly done with his quest. He's 8 stacks short. And they go for the camp. But teams are also a bit more cautious right now. 8 kills to 7. We've seen some really nice individual plays or just like small gank teams getting kills like earlier when Oriel and Sergeant Hammer both died. And then immediately the aggression from Team Ash. But despite the fact that they had 3 Dragon Knights, they weren't really able to take a keep down yet. Let's shield again. And the move for Leoki. And he's down. Leoric gone. I mean, he'll be back. As long as he drains here, he is going to be fine. But, yeah. That is, of course, a situation now that they would like to avoid. Getting those kills in is big for Team Ash. It always gives them numbers advantages. They could technically try and go for another objective, but look how quickly Leoric is already about to respawn. I mean, him connecting these drains is just crazy. Getting that death timer reduction is huge. Mirrodin jumping in and saying hello. 9 kills to 7 in total. Sylvanas at the bottom of the map, busy. They're actually trying to go for Rhaegar, who barely walks past them all. That would have been a nice catch by Darinushka. If they get that more connected, Rhaegar might actually fall. It's a big might though. Again, they have a double support here. And even if Rhaegar falls, there could be a Resurrect. It was this close to the keep that the chances of them keeping the hero alive after a Resurrect are pretty big. But they want to avoid another Dragon Knight from being claimed, so they go for the bot lane control and take the bell tower here. But that allows Sylvanas to move into the middle, and this is what I said earlier. They're not going for all-out let's-kill-it attacks, but they're nibbling on the edges over and over again. Mirrodin, yeah, the catch! Sylvanas overstayed and paid the price. It was a nice attempt to move out, but then also Mirrodin with an immediate... This could be a counter kill, but we still have the Ancestral. Jojo, on the other hand, is starting to fall a little bit low here and is trying to get away. Kenshi, Sergeant Hammer, weaving those auto attacks in. If they can slow her, she's dead. Yeah, she's down. That's 2 heroes removed, and all of a sudden, the cats on the prowl. The cats are moving in for the fort in the middle of the map, and Sergeant Hammer is just whacking away. 67,000 damage now, supported by Oriel, supported by Rhaegar, and they're gonna take this fort. That was huge. This could be the first Dragon Knight for the Green Cats. It should be the first Dragon Knight for them. It would be a bit amazing if somehow Team Ash would be able to defend this, because Mirrodin is now holding it at the bottom of the map. Up here at the top it's Leo, and yep, I think it's gonna be Rhaegar that takes it. Even a bit of attack here with Buried Alive, not that that's gonna matter. But one of the supports was bound to end up in the Dragon Knight, and it is indeed Rhaegar. So, 9 kills to 9. We now have level 23 on both sides, and this is the chance to push with Sergeant Hammer for the keep at the bottom of the map. Quick reminder, Team Ash has done enormous amounts of structural damage, but they haven't taken a keep out yet, so this could be the first one to fall in this game. And they're doing well. It's a 5 versus 5 now. Sylvanas is sitting in the back, so they're trying to go for a flank like they did earlier. But I'm not sure if this is the right play for them. The minion wave gets burned down. That already helps with defense a bit. But the keep is still destroyed. The keep is gone, but I suppose they're going to leave it at that. Or are they really trying to go for the core here? Well, they're diving in a bit deep with Rhaegar, but the Dragon Knight is destroyed and Rhaegar is on the way back out. Blessed Shield connected though. Blessed Shield connected, so did the Maw. They're fighting. Sylvanas isn't here. She goes for the keep. Sylvanas goes for the keep, but they lose Blaze in the process. Sylvanas was trying to go for the keep in the middle. Now she has to retreat. The core is open. I think Team Ash just miscalculated. Team Ash miscalculated. Sergeant Hammer is just going for it with the rest of the team. The Wailing Arrow is in. They try to take Hammer down. The big shield. It's a triple kill. It's a quad kill. Zagara, the only survivor after Lucius, Sylvanas, Blaze, and Jojo have all fallen. And that's a victory. They turn the series around and they win it. The Green Cats move on to the next round of the losers bracket. And Team Ash is eliminated from Group A. GG.